and welcome to the finale. Uh, and thank you so much for all your patience. I know it has been a lot of, for us deciding, do we do it on ground? But as you clearly know, due to the, the whole coronavirus scare, we actually taken in consideration the safety and security of the folks and decided to do it online. And thank you so much for being on this journey with us. So I'll get started. And if we can just move to the next slide and quickly introduce you to the agenda. We'll have Shubho, who is our product engineering lead at Genpact. He will be actually talking about how our journey has been so far. And then we'll move into the mentors introducing the challenge and how the experience has been. And then we'll be announcing the winners for each of the challenge. So that's the agenda for the day. And with this, I want to hand it over to Shubho, who's joined the call. And please, take this forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Neha. Again, apologies for delaying this for so long. There were various reasons why we had to kind of keep pushing it. And finally, when we got it set up, it so happened that the whole virus thing kind of was a big damper on the event that we were planning on organizing. So again, thanks for having the patience with us. And we are actually, I think from our point of view, it's been a pretty exciting journey to have done this for the first time and having had a pretty decent participation from across the folks in the industry. So thanks again for participating in this competition. And I hope it's been an experience that has enriched you guys as much as it has enriched us. So I think overall, if I look back, this was the first time, so we were doing this, so there were some challenges that we kind of kept optimizing as we went through this whole competition. But we look forward to doing this on a year-on-year basis going forward. And I think we will continue to create this as a forum where we can interact with people in the industry. People can interact with us, kind of look at the problem statements that we are trying to solve. And hopefully it'll be beneficial for both of us in the long run. So that's pretty much what I had from my end as a recap. So in terms of where we are, we started a while back and the statistics were pretty encouraging for us, having done it for the first time. And as I said, we want to continue to refine this, make it more exciting and make it more streamlined as we go forward. But it's definitely something we want to invest in and take it forward. So Neha, do you want me to go through this or is Bhavani doing these slides?
So I think, Shubho, the journey so far, if you can just summarize and then we'll get Bhavani to take this on. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I think so far it's been a fairly long journey. I mean, we started with a lot of registrations and we went through the whole process of pruning the ones, selecting the ones that made more sense, not necessarily is a reflection on the submissions, but it's a reflection on what we were looking for from the solutions that were presented to us. So net, I think we had a good mix of solutions that were presented and we went through the whole rounds of shortlisting and coming up with the final set of winners. So what we're going to do today, I mean, all the people here are probably the ones who have been selected, whose projects have been selected for the final round. So what we're going to do here today is basically take it to the next step and announce the winners. And I think for that, Bhavani will walk us through not just the challenges, but also the whole process of selection. So Bhavani, over to you.
Thank you very much, Shubho. Good evening, everyone. And just to quickly introduce myself, I think some of you have interacted with me earlier, but just in case you haven't, then I've been wearing the organizer's hat on this particular initiative from Genpact. And likewise, I've also been a mentor. As far as my role is concerned in Genpact, currently I'm playing the role of the Chief Architect for Digital Solutions, working with a few clients across the world, deploying multi-tower solutions. So that's what I do for bread and butter. Now, just to kind of maybe take over from where Shubho left off, as many of you know, we had almost about, I think, 27,000 plus people actually participating and showing interest in this particular program. But ultimately, it boiled down to approximately about 23 submissions, which actually made the cut for evaluations for the finale. Okay. Now, before we kind of go into the announcement of the winners, what I just wanted to do was, just like Shubho mentioned, just to give you guys a quick recap on the challenges we had dropped against you. So once we do that, then we'll dig into each other's challenges and see who's made the cut. And what I will do is while we are doing that, I'll introduce each of the mentors for each of the areas, and then they will be declaring the winners. And then we will essentially have the winners come in and give us a quick 2-minute brief on their experience and, you know, what they felt about the whole program and what they thought made the, you know, experience wonderful for them. Okay, so that's how we'll take it from here. So talking about the challenges, there were 4 main challenges which we put forth. There was approximately, I would say 3 of them which were kind of generic in nature, and one of them was pretty industry specific. So we had the first challenge which we had put across to you guys, you know, which was basically an interesting problem which the pharmaceutical industry was facing. This was primarily around figuring out, you know, how do you look at adverse drug reactions, how do you classify them, categorize them, and pull out alerts on the basis of maybe certain severities of these reactions, right? So that was sort of the first challenge. And what we were really looking for there as a solution was, you know, some sort of a sensory perception in the system, wherein you could mine different kinds of data sets, which could be, you know, social media and whatever else, and then ensure that certain alerts and other dimensions of the problem statements which were teed up as a part of the analysis of the ADRs is something which we're looking for. That was the first challenge. Then we had a pretty interesting generic challenge where we'd asked you to kind of solve the problem of figuring out how you can astutely build an experimentation platform for machine learning solutions. So picking off, let us say, the aspects of A/B testing and a few others, other technologies which existed around that area, we basically threw a challenge out there where we said that, yeah, I mean, these techniques are good for model testing to some extent, but when it comes to, let us say, plugging in this set of models in a full-bodied application, how would you do end-to-end or A/B testing for these kind of applications and ensure that those experimentation procedures are again end to end, right from the UI interfaces all the way down to the different tiers of the application, inclusive of the AI/ML models getting embedded in there. So that was sort of the second area of challenge which we gave. The third one was also a generic one, which was all in the area of data management and data governance. So here we basically threw out a challenge where we said that, yeah, there are a lot of frameworks which exist out there, which can do things like data analysis, data profiling, probably some essence of business glossary management, maybe automatically mapping those ontologies onto certain business terms and so on and so forth. But what we really were looking for is that if we had to take this to a scenario where there is the regular traditional data management use cases, and likewise in parallel, there are aspects of data science and other things being built out, how do we kind of bring something generic to this kind of environment? So that was sort of the third challenge. And then the fourth one was primarily around OCR. This was pretty straightforward because we were looking at basically a very strong solution in the OCR space, which could give us high confidence reads and data capture facilities from the solution. And we were also looking at, what you could put together in terms of enrichment strategies, etc., for, whatever gets extracted from the unstructured content or images we'll be looking at. So, those were basically the 4 problem statements in summary. Now, let's move on to the next slide, please, and we'll basically get into this phase where we'll start looking at who the winners are. So to begin with, what we will do is we will start with the first problem statement, and the first problem statement's mentor was Suresh Kumar. So this was for the challenge which was called as disease trends and adverse drug reaction correlations from social media. By matter of introduction, Suresh is basically a very versatile engineer in our organization. He's done about 20 years in the industry. He's spent a good amount of time doing very interesting solutions for e-commerce providers and different technology companies. So he's sort of crossed the bridge where he has worked with large companies like the Amazons, eBays, the Suns and Yahoos of the world. He currently leads almost 120 strong set of developers who actually build solutions in the area of pharmacovigilance. So that's sort of the introduction to Suresh. So Suresh, the floor is yours to kind of maybe briefly talk about how your experience has been for mentoring this particular challenge, and also up to you to declare the winners and then invite the winners to say a few words about their experience. Over to you, Suresh.
Hi, Suresh just called. He needs a minute or two. Sorry about that. We'll have to just give him another minute, please. He's having a technical glitch at his end.
Okay.
So I think, till Suresh joins, I would, Bhavani, if you would just want to go ahead and announce the winners, and then once he joins, we can actually come back.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. Absolutely. Okay, if we can move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so the winner for the challenge around the pharmacovigilance, we could essentially get only one winner, and these are basically the architects from IIT Naryapur. So congratulations to all the team members of IIT Naryapur. We can bring them up on the, thank you. So is Tanika or Anurag or Ghazal or Kavya or Pratik, any of you guys on the call?
Yeah, hello.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah,
very nice to see all you guys together. So congratulations to you. Fantastic job on solving the problem. I think your prototype really impressed Suresh. He's not here to represent your work. I think he's having some challenges, but like I said, congratulations, very well done, and you're the winners of the first challenge.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So do you want to take 2 minutes to maybe share your experience and say a few things of how things went by, what you liked, what you didn't like? Just 2 minutes.
Yeah. So first we went and saw the 4 of the challenges, and we first read about it. We had some idea because one of us was working in this field, and when we researched about it, and we thought that there is something missing and we can do something about it. So we researched a lot, read a lot of research papers, looked on all the solutions, and listed all the advantages of all the solutions, all the shortcomings that we could see. We put it all together and designed a tool. And also another thing, that there was an innovative idea that the labels, there were no labels with the negative labels, like there was no data with negative labels. We also designed a system to integrate that into the data and make the predictions. And Suresh was very nice. When first we met him, he told us all the shortcomings that we should look into. We did that, and we presented him twice, I guess, and then he was really satisfied with the solution, and we had a very grateful experience working with you all guys. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Yes, Suresh had great things about to tell about you guys. After y'all kind of went back to the drawing board and took his first feedback, and then came back with a pretty diligent solution. So, thanks for taking that effort. Thanks for doing those late night work and all those interesting things which you did. So, congratulations once again. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And good luck in your future endeavors. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so given that we had only one winner for the previous slide, we'll move on to the next challenge, which is the high confidence OCR subsystem. So Samarjit Ghosh, known as Sam in short, right, was the mentor for this particular challenge. And talking about Sam's background, yeah, he also has a pretty illustrious background in terms of his career. So he's done about 23 years in the industry. He's worked in different industry domains, finance and insurance primarily, but a few other sectors as well. And he's got a pretty interesting, expanse in terms of his experience. So as you can see, he's the leader for our DevOps capabilities, quality assurance and usability in our engineering department. He also works pretty closely with some of the large Fortune 500 companies we work with. So he's been another interesting and diligent mentor for the problem statement around the OCR area. So Suresh, if you're on the call, over to you, please, to announce the winners and allow them to maybe spend a couple of minutes talking about their experience.
Sure. Thank you, Bhavani. Guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hey, first of all, I wanted to thank all the participants that came over and, helped us move the needle on this particular thing. We had a particular challenge as far as OCR goes. Now, OCR is not a new technology in the market. It is an old technology, but so is the wheel. But, over the years, people have gone around and added stuff on the wheel that has made it even better. Think about the first cartwheel versus your alloy wheels of the supercars nowadays, right? So what I'm trying to point out is there is no end to innovation. There is no end to solving something and making it even better. And in this aspect, I have looked at a couple of solutions that the different contestants brought in, and there were two that really stood out. The first was, and let me quickly make sure I don't speak the wrong thing. The first one was Perpetuity Technosoft, Rohil Sharma. This team had actually done some very intelligent data extraction model, which can be trained. So most importantly, we can all do data extraction, right? What is important is that you add intelligence on top of it and try to bring your accuracy level much higher, right? So that is the first, the number one winner. And the runners up is We Invent Tech, Akhil Dixit.
Yeah.
The particular thing about Akhil and team, I found that their accuracy rate was really high, especially by doing, deep learning and applying machine learning to it. You are able to extract data and then make sense of it, which will actually make the accuracy high. And you are doing it by keeping a focus on a particular domain and making sure that you are able to extract all the data related to that domain. So congratulations to both. And I would certainly say congratulations to all the other participants that's come in, because I'm sure like us, you guys learned a lot, and challenges coming your way are the way to learn. I thank all the participants and the company for giving us all this opportunity.
Fantastic. Well done, winners.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, so in the interest of time, we'll move on to the next challenge, where we'll basically look at the experimentation platform related problem, which I spoke about earlier, where we were looking at an end-to-end platform for doing generic experiments, which covered all the tier application. So the mentor for this challenge is another, I would say, illustrious gentleman in terms of his career, Mr. Danish Padmanabhan. So he basically leads the AI and the ML platform build for Genpact. and he's been the mentor for this challenge for obvious reasons, right? And Danish is actually a data scientist by, I would say, qualification, but he obviously is a pretty hands-on engineer, and he works pretty closely with our developers in delivering the AI ML platform capabilities which we are building for some of our large customers. Having said that, yeah, he's basically gotten his PhD from Notre Dame in France. Pretty interesting place to study, I would imagine. And before that, yeah, he's gotten a BTech from IIT Madras, Chennai for now. Yeah, he's done about 16 odd years in industry and worked for many large companies like GM, HP. And in his last stint, he was working for Truecaller, and he's built some really cool algorithms out there. And having said that, yeah, he is also an avid reader, and he kind of keeps a good tab on where the technology world is going, and he keeps us updated as well. So that is Danish for you. So Danish, over to you to actually declare the winners as the drill is going on, and allow the winners to kind of say a few words about their experience.
Sure. Thanks, Bhavani. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so I think this was a very interesting experience. We actually got to connect with various interesting startups which were working in very similar areas or trying to solve very related problems. And it was kind of interesting to connect with these companies and a lot of interesting talent. And I think some of the submissions that we got, I think looked at, I'm just trying to recollect. There was one, I guess, that was looking at alternate solution where they didn't really, where you could actually save a lot of time on experimentation. And there was another one which was trying to solve solve very relevant problems, especially when it comes to AI model development from a collaboration standpoint, and also from a learning standpoint. And the winner actually is the company that I was just talking about, just trying to solve the collaborative AI model development problem. That's Nimblebox.ai, Anshuman and team. I think one of the interesting things they were trying to do was actually, actually come up with a collaborative learning platform, which is a very, relevant problem for the industry now, where we are trying to reskill our workforce, in the new AI technologies. And it was really heartening to see. I think they started with a lot of Indian organizations, and sort of have developed it also as an ecosystem for developers to collaboratively develop AI applications. So I don't know if Anshuman or any others from the team are here. Maybe they can talk a little bit about their experience participating in this competition. Anshuman?
Sure. Thank you so much, Dhanesh, for the opportunity, and also the organizing team from Genpact. So we had a great time working with Dhanesh. We showed our platform, and I didn't realize that Dhanesh was also from Namma Chennai, and we are also a Chennai-based company. So I think the future of software is AI. I don't see AI as a feature, but an architecture, and it is going to particularly change the way everything is ever built in the future. So it was a pleasure working with Genpact. I look forward to working more with Genpact so that we can implement our solution organization-wide at Genpact and make sure we are solving AI together. Thank you, Dhanesh.
Okay, fantastic, and congratulations the Nimblebox team. I think it was well deserved. Now, before I kind of talk about the challenge area I was mentoring, I think Suresh just joined us like about 3-4 minutes ago. Suresh, I think your team from IITN was pretty thrilled in getting the award. So do you want to maybe take a minute and share your thoughts and maybe your kudos with them?
Sure.
So IT team, are you guys still there?
Okay. Hey, thanks, Bhavani. And again, congratulations to Triple IT team. And I'm really very excited to announce this one. And I know it has been already announced, but I just wanted to add few things here. That when I started with this, looking into the various presentation from a lot of other teams in this disease trends and adverse drug reaction correlation from social media data. There were teams coming from large company as well. There were multiple teams coming from large companies. And what I found is that the new thought process at least, or trying out something new, was missing in a lot of other teams, which is coming from a standard large companies. And while working with this team, I was really very amazed and very happy to see that these guys are trying to read some of the research paper, trying out something new and do the correlation. Although in the beginning, there was some trying to understand the problem itself and trying to go in the right direction. It took a while and we went back and forth sometime. But finally, I saw that there is something happening and which is very positive in that direction. And that is whatever they have done. I found the last demo I had is something literally is possible to take it to the next level. And it was great to work with the team, very young graduates from Triple IT, and very excited, energetic. And I have had few chats over the LinkedIn as well. And they seem to be very motivated and energetic set of people. So again, I wanted to congratulate every one of you. And there is something, you guys have done a really good job. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you, Suresh. There you see Anurag Shukla and the gang behind him. They're right there on video, all of them.
Thanks a lot, sir. You've been of great help. Thank you.
Hey, Vani, over to you.
Thanks, Suresh.
All
right. Okay, so as far as I think the challenge which I was mentoring was concerned, right? In fact, I didn't have to do much mentoring because I think a lot of the teams which actually came to the table with their solutions, I think they had fairly good experience in the market. They had done, a lot of, I would say, research on what could be the next generation in the area of data analysis, data profiling, governance, and glossary management, etc. And amongst the 7 or 8 sort of participants who were looking at making it to the final round out here, there was pretty stiff competition, I would say. And I think I've had a good experience looking at different ways in how the frameworks were built, what kind of stacks they supported, what kind of algorithms they had used, and so on and so forth. So it was, I think, overall pretty good experience. And I think the folks who came to the table were extremely professional and brilliant, in my opinion. So it was a little hard, but yeah, we had to choose 2 winners, and we have 2 of them coming up on the next slide. And the winner is actually Azure Icon Technologies. Their offerings go under the domain of dataicon.ai. So congratulations, Azure Icon and team, for taking the first spot. And Xylotech, you guys were good either. And believe me, I think the competition was pretty tough between the 2. But I'll not get into the nitty-gritties of, why there is a number 1, there's a number 2. Both of y'all are winners out here. So congratulations to you. And, I think your frameworks have a lot of promise. And I think I did talk to both of you. I think you need a better marketing workforce to take your solutions out there in a broader, in a broader set of, I would say, spectrums and continents, right? So having said that, Abhijit, I'm seeing that you're on. Would you want to take a minute to kind of maybe give us a few words about your experience and how do you feel now? You're on mute, by the way.
Thank you. Am I audible now, Bhavani?
Yes, you are.
So thank you so much. It's a great feeling to be recognized by Genpact. And I think the challenge guidelines were pretty clear. We've been working in this area for some time. We've had opportunity to apart from yourself, talk to others in the industry to basically understand what are the pain points. So our goal all along was, yes, it was important to have a good technology stack, but focus on making the whole journey easy for the end user. So that was basically the broad guideline. Thanks for your mentorship. In fact, after the first discussion that we had, it was pretty clear where we needed to tune ourselves. So we were just hoping we were, on track with the tuning. I also wanted to take a moment and thank the Incubate Hub team. Vijeta particularly has been extremely supportive all along the journey. So thanks so much, Bhavani. And that's my team over there. Some of them who I've worked with for over a couple of decades. So proud to have their names on the screen as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you guys did a fundamental job, and I think Abhijit, you and your team have a pretty future. So all the best with that, and congratulations.
Thank you, Bhavani.
Okay. Can we switch over to the next slide? Okay. So the runner-up obviously is Xylotech, like I mentioned earlier. So do we have Iqbal or Sandeep on the Zoom meeting out here?
Yeah, we are both here, Bhavani.
Fantastic. So congratulations, Iqbal. So good to see you again in person.
Likewise.
Virtually. So would you want to take a couple of minutes to explain your experience and, give us a sense of, let's say, what do you feel and how do you think this whole experience played out for your company?
So I think for us, it was a great experience because while we have been developing this product with feedback from our existing clients and new clients, but it was heartening to see that it has implications much wider. And after talking to you, we, as you rightly said, that marketing is one thing that we need to get better with. So some of our own hypotheses were confirmed. So I think what would be great, I mean, my suggestion is that, going forward, if we could have a place for the participants to learn from each other as well. I know some of it is competition, but in a non-competing way, if that could be figured out, that would also be very useful. But overall, a great learning experience for us, and glad we got to participate. And of course, icing on the cake, we are the runners-up.
Yeah, thanks, and appreciate that. I'll take your feedback because I think you're probably pointing at user groups or meetups, etc. For folks who are working on the same problem area. So we'll see if we can get some of that organized in the days to come. So well done once again. And I think the interesting part of, let us say, where you guys kind of put, I think, your edge ahead of the others who were kind of tailing you pretty closely was the application you had around the customer domain with all the frameworks. Right? So that played out a pretty good example of, how these frameworks can be played out in a real domain, right? So I think that kind of took you away from the people who are behind you. Okay. So once again, so with that said, I think we are pretty much done with the winners announcement. So congratulations, everybody. Very well done. Sorry, we could have probably done this, in a different forum like Shubho was mentioning, but thanks to, the virus scares, etc., we could not get you all organized in a, in an interesting environment. So we'll just stop here and, see if anybody else has anything to say before I kind of, spend some time thanking the people who made this happen. Any questions or any comment from the audience?
Go ahead, Sundar. Okay, yeah, this is Soundar from Perpetuity. First of all, congratulations to all winners, and thanks to the Genpact and team, for having this program. And I think you made us participate, and I really wanted to thank the hard work put behind, and giving a coaching and giving a mentoring, and kind of a lot of stuff. So I think I wanted to thank Genpact team for that. And just a quick introduction about Perpetuity. Like we are in the automation field for the past 10 years. We are into the intelligent automation solution. Providing company. We are one of the few company exist in India, and we kind of deliver cater the solution across the world. So I think moving forward, I think somebody said if we have a kind of an event where we can share our knowledge and we can go together in a non-competitive way, I think that's going to be a wonderful experience, and it's going to be an awesome forum as well. So I'm looking forward to it. So overall, thanks to Genpact, and congratulations to all the winners. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Sundar. And I think that feedback is a pretty good one. I think Iqbal also was on the same point earlier. So that's good. Thanks for the feedback and appreciating your participation and your comments out here.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the audience?
Viral here, am I audible?
Yes, bro, you are.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Bhavani. First of all, as an individual, very fabulous experience. Start from day one. I remember the request came. I belong to Infosys. I'm from Infosys. I remember the day when we got this request, looking at the challenges, really true variety type of problem statement. It was so difficult for us to select the problem statement because me and my teammate, we both from a financial services background, but because of something that attracted more on the first disease detections on the AI email, we selected that problem, and after that it was a really amazing journey with respect to experiences and discussions with mentors Suresh and all that. So thanks team, thanks Incubate team for keeping us continuously updated on what's happening. With that, I have a questions. If you could help me, I see that all other categories have two winners, first one and the runner-ups. And if I also look at our initials communications, but for the first category, somehow I am surprised why we have only one winner.
Yeah, so that's a good question, Viral. So see, I would say there are certain standards basis of which we will get our winners selected, right? So for two categories, we did not have anybody who could make it to the runners up on the net score. So that's the reason, you will see only one winner each for two categories, but for the others, there are two. So it's about discourse basically. So you can say that nobody made the cut out there beyond the people who got the first prize.
Okay, interesting. I know it's a larger forum, but would like to hear if you have any feedback, if there is any guidelines or any indications on what couldn't work for the other people, that would really help as a feedback.
Yeah, I think when we defined our criteria, we gave some hints around that on what we would exactly be looking for. Obviously, we couldn't be very explicit. But yeah, talking about feedback, I think there will be, less chance for us to give a formal feedback, but we can essentially talk offline to see if you particularly need any feedback on your participation.
Certainly.
We can,
certainly. That would be really of a great help. So I'll speak to you and Suresh offline. Thank you.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay. All right. So two more questions from the audience before we kind of, try to wrap this up. Anybody wants to go?
This is Sounder again from Perpetuity. So is there any way that we can, take this winning momentum, to the market, and is there any business conversion is possible? Just to put it this way. I mean, we're all into business, so just want to ask.
Yeah, that'll be an offline conversation, right?
Excellent.
Yeah.
We'll
So
do
this one is just focused on announcing the winners and getting past that. So, and I believe I did mention this, that after the program, finishes up, the rest of the connects will follow, depending on, how we want to run business, etc. So you can be in touch with some of us, and then we can figure things out on where we can engage with you and all that. All right.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay. One last question from the audience before we move on? All right. So looks like there are no further questions. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to take a few minutes, right? Maybe a couple of minutes to kind of really thank, a good load of people who made this entire, I would say, Dare in Reality challenge journey happen, right? I mean, right from, when we thought about, a hackathon like this, and then going down all the way to kind of really getting those problem statements out, and then really taking it to a stage where we did a launch event. We invited some of you guys, and then went through this entire rigmarole of getting through the submissions, level 1, level 2, and doing all the mentoring and getting you guys to a stage where you can build out something which you can review. I think that was a pretty interesting journey. And there are a lot of people who contributed to making this happen. So to begin with, Our leader for augmented intelligence and automation for Genpact, Mr. Kaushik Bhaskar. So he's actually based out of Palo Alto in California. He's not on the meeting today, but he's been our chief sponsor and to a large extent, I would say our mentor in actually running this particular program. After that, Shubho Ghosh, who is on our meeting, he leads basically all of engineering for digital in Genpact. So he's been very instrumental in actually ensuring that the problem statements are precise enough and they're aligned to the client problems which you are going to be solving in due course. So he and I work pretty closely in figuring out, what were the best statements to kind of give out for you guys to solve. So thanks, Shubho, for that. Dimple Arora, she is not on the meeting today, Chief of Operations. So she helped us with all the workforce and the contributors we needed to get this event organized from the Genpact side. And, some of her experience in organizing other events similar to this also kind of came to the table and was very helpful. Monica Tiwari, who is on the meeting right now, she is from our digital operations team. So she has been instrumental in tying all the threads together between different teams to ensure that this event actually is conducted pretty smoothly, right from its inception all the way down to today. I think she was down to the wire in getting things done till the last minute. And not to forget, the most important contributors to this particular initiative from our side, our talent, marketing, and communications team, Amrita Thapar, Neha Chopra, Vineet Chopra, Hemang Sehgal, Rachi Guron, Ajay Rawat. These guys have been extremely, extremely helpful in ensuring that every single piece of the step taken for making this program successful has been taken, and we didn't miss out on anything. And my special thanks to Neha and Vineet, who were always on top of anything we had to do with this particular program. Now, if it was not for the Incubate Hub team, this program obviously wouldn't have happened. So I just wanted to thank Uday and Karthik. I don't know if you guys are on the meeting. Uday and Karthik, thank you. And Vijeta and Sagar as well, who are program managing this entire event for us. And then I know the kind of comms Vijeta might have sent to many of you guys. So she's been on top of everything, again, just like Neha and Vineet were from our side. So thank you. And last but not the least, the mentors, right? I think the mentors did a pretty important role in ensuring that the solutions were up to the mark, and the folks who were participating received all the guidance which was required for them to bring the solutions to the level at which they can be evaluated. So thank you, mentors. And then finally, to all the participants, I know many of them are not here, but I would have personally like to thank all of them. But if it was not for you anyway, this program wouldn't have happened. So with that said, I think we pretty much come to the conclusion of this program. So thanks for joining us today. And what I will do is now I'll hand the floor back to Neha to see if she has a few things to say on what the next steps would be from here. And then we can close this meeting today. So Neha, back to you, please.
Sorry, this is Vijeta here. And I would take it from here. And thank you, Bhavani. Thank you very much for all your kind words. And congratulations to all the winners once again. And participants, I'll be coordinating with the Genpact team on expediting the payment of your prize money. I'll get in touch with you guys, each winner to collect the required data. And definitely I would need some time to gather information and coordinate. So please allow me a time for a week or something. And once again, thank each one of you for joining this. So have a great night.
Thank you, Vijeta. And once again, congratulations to all the winners. And hopefully we'll have another similar event like this, like Shubho said, and hope to see you guys there. Thank you.
Hello, Bhavani sir, I have a doubt. Can I ask?
Yeah, Anurag. We are just, but yeah, one last question for sure. Right.
Yeah, the program also mentioned that there will be opportunities with Genpact for the participants. Is that true?
Yeah, there will be. So you made good friends with Suresh, so talk to him. He'll be able to help you with that. Okay.
Okay, I should talk to him.
Yeah, reach out to Suresh. Yeah.
Sure. Hey, connect with me, and I have already pinged with some of you and connected over LinkedIn. So feel free to touch base with me.
Okay, sure, sir. Sure. Thank you.
All right. So that was a good last question. All right. So thanks, everyone. You all have a good evening. And once again, congratulations to all the winners. And we appreciate your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.